अंग्रेज अपना लगान और न्यूज़ लॉन्ड्री अपना हफ्ता कभी नहीं छोड़ते. Welcome to another episode of News Laundry Hafta. And your favorite host Abhinandan is not here. He's on leave. So I will try to make as many dad jokes as possible. But nonetheless, we have a panel with us. In studio with me are our editor-in-chief, Raman Kirpal. Hello, Raman sir. We have Hridayesh Joshi. You've met him so many times on Charcha.
In Hafta also sometimes.
Yeah, in Hafta also sometimes, but he's a regular panelist on Charcha. So welcome, Hridayesh.
Thank you very much.
And joining us online are Arati Jerath. Arati is a senior journalist and a political commentator, and she has been writing for quite a while on politics and domestic and international affairs. You can read her column in Indian Express, Economic Times, NDTV, among others. Welcome to the Hafta, Arti.
Thank you.
Also joining us online is Shabbir Ahmed. Shabbir is senior news editor at the News Minute, and he regularly reports from Tamil Nadu for the News Minute. And before that, he was the Tamil Nadu bureau chief of Times Now. Welcome to Hafta, Shabbir.
Welcome. Hi.
So
Times Now को क्यों याद दिला दिया यार?
Or like you have to mention it. Sometimes you have to remember the bad things to cherish the good things, don't we? Before we move on to headlines, there is one announcement. We have a new NL Sena project. It's for NEET and NEET exam controversy and how it happened. And this has left a lot of people with shattered hopes, especially students and young people. Was there a paper leak? Was it an organized system, organized crime? And what will happen to the aspirants now? So we have created a Sena project for this, and our reporters Basant and Sumedha would go on the ground and investigate this in Bihar, Haryana and Delhi. So you can go to our website and go to newslaundry.com/NLSena, and the title is Neat but Not Clean. You can contribute and empower our journalism, and I hope you fill this project as soon as possible, because this affects young people directly, and the sooner we are able to fill it, sooner we'll be able to go out on the ground and report for you. So I'll quickly run through the headlines and then we'll get to the discussion. Last week, a lot of people died in Tamil Nadu's Kallakurichi district, where people were hospitalized after consuming illicit liquor. And now 63 people have died and 88 others are undergoing treatment. Shabbir is specifically with us to tell us about this. Shabbir, can you give us more information about this? Because I was reading the headlines and reading the news reports, and this has been a consistent problem in Tamil Nadu of bad liquor and hooch.
Well, Hooch tragedies happened in Tamil Nadu 14 years ago. Somewhat it was under control. The first time in 14 years it was reported was in May 2023, last year, in Marakanam and Chengalpet district, which is in the outskirts of, Chennai. So those are adjacent districts of Chennai. So it was reported there. And 23 people lost their lives in those tragedies. And after that, the state government had decided that they will launch a crackdown. They went in for a crackdown. They had arrested some 1,600 people, and they had destroyed illicit liquor that is being prepared in several parts of the state. And all that happened. And we all thought that, okay, the government has taken some action, so this thing will be under control. But this Kallakurichi tragedy is absolutely shocking. Because more than 60 people died. Like you said, 63 people died. And still there are people in various hospitals, in at least 4 hospitals, including one in Puducherry. They are getting treated. Some of them have lost their eyesight. And we do not know what exactly the other problems the other patients have. Some of them have been discharged. So their status is also unknown. So this is a huge, shocking tragedy that took place in Tamil Nadu, in Kallakurichi district. The illicit sale of liquor was happening right in the middle of the town. It's in the heart of the Kallakurichi district, the town area, where the illicit liquor was being sold. Just 350 meters away from the Kallakurichi court complex, 350 meters away from the police station, And it was public knowledge. Everyone knew about it.
So the allegations that the administration and the government doesn't care are somewhat correct, right? Because
absolutely, it's correct. It's correct. The opposition parties are all alleging that this is a failure of the DMK government, which talks about social justice, which talks about Dravidian model. Because see, when a similar tragedy happened last year in Chengalpet, the government woke up and the government said that they are going to curb this with iron hand. And Chief Minister went on to give a statement saying that I'll become a dictator and I'll ensure that this doesn't happen again. And in 1 year, we have another tragedy. And the scale of this tragedy is big.
Yes.
There are some particular villages where this illicit liquor was sold.
So let's move on towards a discussion about the parliament and politics. So, as I told you, the 18th Lok Sabha has been officially sworn in, and it did not start the way people thought it would. And I'll go to Arati first, but a few things. So, this is officially the third time, but in practice, the second time speaker position was contested. And of course, Om Birla won. And they have rejected, till now, the news is they have rejected that they won't be swearing in a deputy speaker. The BJP is fighting on opposition's proposal that a deputy speaker from the opposition should be sworn in. And that was the custom before 17th Lok Sabha, the last one, where no deputy speaker was sworn in. In the first term of Mr. Modi, there was a deputy speaker. So, Arti, how do you think the parliament will function? Because the opposition does have some strength compared to previous years. And one thing I was cognizant of, and I was reading when the opposition people were giving their statements, that Agniveer has to be dealt. But while the opposition demands that it has to be withdrawn, the government doesn't seem to think so. They are slightly giving hints that they're open to some amendments. What do you think?
So, it's very unfortunate, actually, the note on which this parliament began, because the results are quite clear. The people have not given a clear mandate to anybody. Yes, the NDA does have a majority, but it's for a coalition. It's not a single party majority government like we've had for the last 10 years. So I think the message from the people is, and they've given the opposition huge numbers, much larger than the opposition had in the last 10 years. So I think the message from the people is very clear that everybody should sit together and work collectively for the development of the nation and, on policy matters and legislation and so on. But unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be happening because they started fighting on the issue of the pro-tem speaker. And, the pro-tem speaker is a very mundane kind of appointment.
It's a 3-day job.
His only job is to swear in, the new MPs and to, oversee the election of the speaker.
Yeah.
Now, if the government had gone by convention and given it to the senior most MP, the 8-term MP from the Congress, K Suresh, what would it have cost them? Really, what would it have cost them? In fact, it would have probably taken the wind out of the opposition's sails because it would have left the opposition with nothing to fight on,
Yeah.
But they didn't do it. They just didn't do it because they just wanted to have their own man there. So, the way it started is like nothing has changed. This is Modi 3.0, but it's a continuation of Modi 2.0. And if you heard the president's address today, she says the same thing. That, this is just, a mandate for a third term for the same government and so on and so forth, which is strictly not true because it's a mandate for a completely different type of government.
There is a term called floor coordination in Parliament. We had seen, I remember in my reporting career, since Priyaranjan Das Munshi or Pramod Mahajan, Prithviraj Chauhan very recently in last UPA government.
There used to be so much humor in Parliament.
They would run opposition camp and they'll say, let's do this. And the Parliament would gets adjourned for some time, for 5-10 minutes. And they immediately go in a huddle and then they find a solution so that work goes on with a minimum decorum, and now the way the bills are being passed, this is happening. But one thing you have to say, one point at some level, opposition treasury benches were targeting some of the opposition chief ministers like Mamata Banerjee. Do you also give a space of deputy speaker or person the same you are demanding in the parliament in your own state? So, the bitterness, if it has to end, it is a give and take. So this is a valid point, but it cannot be equal, when you are talking about parliament or talking about assembly. But they have made this point particularly about Mamata Banerjee and TMC in West Bengal. They are as authoritarian as,
Yeah, but like Mamata is like that. But the thing is, like, forget about politics. Like, I work on minor issues. There used to be so much humor and bonhomie even between the opposition and treasury benches. Now there is literal animosity. Like, people scream at each other and they behave like enemies and not political adversaries. Sir, you were trying to say something?
No, I'll just ask Arati. Arati, how do you read these coalition partners? They just, forgo their choice on our speaker. Normally the coalition partners, they want the speaker, of their party, because knowing BJP has split the parties on the basis of the speaker, and especially when there is a dispute, the speaker role is going to be very important. So there were speculations that the coalition partners would like to have their own speaker, but they allowed BJP to have their own speaker.
Yeah, especially about TDP.
So how do you read it?
Well, you see, actually, in fact, the coalition partners have their tameness has been rather disappointing. They seem to have accepted all the terms and conditions that the BJP has set, whether it's in terms of the number of ministers. You see the portfolios that they've been given. They're pretty, minor, really non-working portfolios. And of course, they, as far as the speaker is concerned, they very tamely said that, yes, we'll accept whoever you nominate. And so, you see, I think that...
So our next topic of discussion is sort of ongoing and
eternal.
A vicious circle. Yes, eternal is the right word. Eternal water crisis and how it's related to climate change, and the heat which we went through this year was excruciatingly hot year. And I think I read there somewhere that this might go down in history as one of the hottest years, at least for India and subcontinent. So, as I told you in the headlines, according to Meteorological Department of India, monsoon is showing about 20% of shortfall on average till now. And for those who don't know, an interesting anecdote that India receives in the whole year about 100 hours of rainfall. And because of climate change, what we have seen is the time we receive the rainfall has lessened or is getting lesser year by year. But the intensity of rainfall is more. Like last year it happened in MP and in some states of Northeast. 24 hours received the whole year's rainfall, which creates another problem like floods. And the water distribution is not able to cope up with it. So we'll try to discuss it for our listeners as better as possible, and we have Hridayesh with us.
We should understand, we should know that this year the monsoon hit the coast in time.
Yeah.
It came until Maharashtra, up to Maharashtra, and then it is stagnated for more than a week, 8-9 days, and now it has progressed and reached here, and it will be normal till July. But the problem is, as you mentioned, we are having lesser rainy days with more rain in a very short span of time. Last year on Newslaundry, Raman sir sent me and we did a series on Himachal floods.
Yes.
But let me tell how the last year went. Last year, it was El Nino year, and El Nino for our viewers and listeners, El Nino means the year in one line that we will suffer less rain will be there.
And they will be more hotter,
but rain will be definitely affected. Rainfall will be definitely affected. In last year, we had 94% of rainfall overall. We say long-term average, LTA. That is, there was 94%. They considered it almost normal. But it was not 100%, and it was lowest since 2019. But how it progressed, monsoon started late, and it was excessive in July when we went and covered Himachal floods. Yeah. But can you believe that August was the driest and warmest since 1901? In
120, almost 125 years.
We had a flooded month in July, but August was warmest and driest in our recorded history. Yes. So this is how the climate change is playing. Then what happened? Meteorological factors came in, and September we had 13% excess rain.
Yes.
So this erratic thing makes farmer very distressed, because more than 50% of our agriculture is rain-fed.
Yeah.
Right? And our pattern of sowing and growing and harvesting all depends how the rain will come.
On monsoons.
Yes. Just take example of Karnataka. You were mentioning last year, Karnataka was in a very bad situation. Out of Karnataka's 236 talukas, we had 195 talukas which faced rain deficient.
Bas. मुफ्त में इतना ही मिलेगा. For the full uncut podcast, subscribe to Newslaundry and pay to keep news free. The best way to listen to the Hafta and indeed all our podcasts is through the Newslaundry app. You can download the app by clicking on the links given in the show notes. So do download our app and get the best podcast experience. And also pay for news and support a new news media ecosystem that Newslaundry is trying to encourage, where we are accountable to you because we run on contributions that you make. We don't take government ads, we don't take corporations ads, so that news serves the public, because when the public pays, the public is served. Subscribe to Newslaundry, click on the link in the show notes below and proudly say, I pay to keep news free.